आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनकही कहानियाँ। आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनसुनी कहानियाँ। एक नई दुनिया की आवाज़ आपकी आवाज़, विज्ञान की आवाज़ की आवाज़।
Toxicology is a field of science that helps us understand the harmful effects that chemical substances or situations can have on people, animals, and the environment. Some refer to toxicology as the science of safety because, as a field, it has evolved from a science focused on studying poisons and adverse effects of chemical exposures to science devoted to studying safety. The dose of the chemical or substance is a person exposed to an important factor in toxicology. All substances have the potential to be toxic if given to humans and other living organisms in certain conditions and at a certain doses or levels. For example, 1 or 2 aspirins may be good for you, but taking a bottle of aspirin may be harmful. The field of toxicology tries to understand and identify at what dose and through what exposure a substance poses a hazard. Dear listeners, in the previous episode, we spoke with Dr. Mohanan PV, Scientist G and Scientist in charge, Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute for Medical Sciences and Technology, Trivandrum. As he shared his research in toxicology and microfluidics, let's get along with today's episode and get more details on the ranking of India, the future landscape of research, and more as we converse with Dr. Mohanan PV. You're listening to Vigyan Ki Awaaz podcast, catalyzed and supported by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, produced by Media for Community Foundation, content support by Kadalosai FM 90.4 Community Radio, and hosted by your Surya Kiran. Sir, can you please share us about the past, the present, and the future possibilities of your research areas?
There was no was here because this was started in 2012 by a single organ on a chip in UK or USA. Okay, that was a single organs, and then in 2014 it was multi-organs. So it is growing like this. So there was, I told you, there was yesterday there was nothing such system was available, but now people are started doing such thing. But everybody is doing some research activity with single organ then. But it's not, it will not work at all, because what is our strength is we always deal with the human type of thing. Suppose if it is inhalation, everybody used to make a lungs. But ours is not like that. Ours is we started with lungs, then with the liver, then with the kidney, because it goes to the lungs, then to the liver for the metabolism, then to the excretion. So this system, this nobody is planning. Okay, the present thing is people are not at all. Yesterday there was nothing, and today also nothing, and tomorrow we need the regulatory approval. Regulators means as of now, for any compound to be for the phase 1, we need to do 2 rodent species, safety and toxicity. And tomorrow, if this is not there, the regulators are changing this attitude to the rodents to the human on a chip. That will be a great thing. So there is a good scope for the tomorrow for this type of device, and that everybody has the rights to live, including the animals and all. And there are a lot of issues regarding the usage of animals. Definitely, this will be a transitional change in the history of the science. I want to tell you that now when we do the toxicity animals, we always look on to the clinical symptoms. Okay, and tomorrow we are not looking to the clinical symptom. It's a judgment, individual judgment. If I judge something, some clinical symptoms, somebody will judge in a different way. But with this system, there is no judgment. It's totally with a high-end microscope, gene expression, then microarray, then immunohistochemistry, those things. So the the testing pattern totally will be changing in the next, in the coming era with this disease.
There is no judgment that will be proving.
Yes, the documents, because you are looking these cells on your eye. Okay, you can see that how the cell is. And with the confocal microscope, one-time investment. So you can see the immunochemistry, you can do that, gene expression. So you can see what are the difference there. And this is very more closer to the human beings.
Now, let's hear about the global ranking of India in this field of research as shared by Dr. Mohanan PV.
Globally, people are working on organ on a chip. And in US, UK and France and Israel, they are working on multi-organ on a chip. But what we can get it from the literature is they are all connecting with the individual organs. The administration is individual. Okay, but our case is we don't have individual. We are having something like an oral injection. So only oral loop then goes to the. So there is an inlet, there is an outlet. For there, if it is 8 organs, 8 inlets and 8 outlets. But ours is having only 1 inlet and 1 outlet. And our the diameter is the depth is around 400 micron size, and the diameter is 400 and the depth is 200 microns. Such a very small thing. Only if there is a color solution, you can see that. Otherwise, you can't see. And this you can directly put to the confocal microscope, or you can take these cells for the gene inspection. You can very well see. You can, without any judgment, but you can see directly on the effect.
You're listening to Vigyan Ki Awaaz podcast, catalyzed and supported by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, produced by Media for Community Foundation, content support by Kadalose FM 90.4 Community Radio, and hosted by your Surya Kiran. Sir, can you tell us who are all our competitions or contemporaries in this field of research?
I think US, UK, France, and everybody is trying for this. But one of the interesting thing recently happened was we published a paper on this in a colloids which is having around 5 impact factors something. The inventor of the organ on a chip, and who wrote a review in Nature, means this was in last December, and he captured our work in his review paper in Nature. So that means, and that's a single authored review. The inventor, he himself is writing a review, and he collected our journal, and that was published a week before. So that means we are also in par with that, and the competitor is not us, because ours is an entirely a different style of functioning, and people may think how it's function, but we have a we have a system of functioning that, because everybody thinks that how the cells and solution will pass, and how the 10 cells you are collecting with a single media. Each and every cell will grow in different medias. So how will you manage with a single media? So I want to tell you that we are using multiple media, but in a different way, which people can't identify that. But we are supplying the nutrients and other things through a flow with an endothelial cells, and it's the supply is through diffusion methods. The diffusion means if you're taking orally, a paracetamol if you're taking orally, is never directly goes to the liver or anything. It's a diffusion. The same way we are following here also. So this method is not implemented so far.
Now can you tell us how Indian industries are associating with this project?
Yeah, recently I was traveling like anything, that we are scientists, no? We have to present in different forums, in different work. But last 6 months, I am talking only one thing. The same slide repeatedly wherever I am going, because I want this to be a discussion in the scientific forum. So I think more or less I am in success. So I was interacting with the companies in the industrial collaborations, and I think few are agreed, but we can't go for directly. So we have to give some expression of interest or something like that. So we are on the process of that.
Interesting. Can we have a rundown on your patents, research papers, and the awards you have won?
We have around 5 patents, and this procedure we have around 3 patents out of this thing, and again 3 are in pending. Because initially we patented the design first, design registration, after that patented. But later we came to know that this design won't work. So we are not updated. But we modified that system, but it's not updated in the patent. But now what we are planning is whatever the design is with us, we developed, and once its biology is okay, then only we go for it. But we can definitely get 6 patents out of this. Awards, one of the best thing is I got is during the COVID time, Government of India put up a committee, 4-member committee. That is for the first is Drug Controller of India, then CCMB Director, then me, and then one person from Madras Veterinary College for the rapid approval of vaccines. So my duty was to clear the preclinical data. Okay, so that is my thing, and I got several awards also. I'm a national fellow of National Academy of Science, then fellow of Kerala Academy of Science, fellow of Society of Toxicology. Several awards are there, and around 280 publications from this campus, and around 9 books.
Thank you, Dr. Mohanan PV, for spending your time with us and sharing your research story so patiently. Conclusively, would you like to say anything on the Vigyan Ki Awaaz podcast as one of the STEM popularization initiative by the Department of Science and Technology, the Government of India?
Okay. So thank you so much. Maybe this information, Chitra's one of the important thing is we never disclose many of the things initially. Once it is practically implementable, then only we disclose things. So there are several such technology is there in the campus, maybe all for the common person. Okay, and thanks to the Department of Science and Technology for supporting us like anything. So thank you.
This was an interesting episode. And just like me, I'm sure you as listeners also learned something new today. This is Vigyan Ki Awaaz podcast, catalyzed and supported by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, produced by Media for Community Foundation, content support by Kadalose FM 90.4 Community Radio, and hosted by your Surya Kiran. We will meet again in another exciting episode. Thank you for listening.